Alright, y'all. This is what, part 3, 4? I'm trying to get it knocked out the way for y'all. I know it's ridiculous. Thank you for your patience. See if anybody else come back on here. Shamu and Gapo. Shamu and Gapo family. Alright. Finally, hopefully, OCO. OCO family. Alright. So, like I was saying on the first one, second and third, I purchased this book today, The Healing Secrets of Native Americans, Herbs, Remedies, and Practices that Restore the Body, Mind, and Spirit by Porter Shimmer today. And I keep getting cut off when I go into talking about personal hygiene and how the Europeans praise their personal hygiene here in America as compared to theirs, and how they complimented indigenous people on having fresh breath and taking baths. Hey, Halito, Mama Red. But anyways, so one of the things that they were talking about that we use for fresh breath, of course we use not mint. I don't think mint indigenous to America. I don't know. You said grandma told cinnamon was good. Yeah, cinnamon is good. That's why cinnamon, they have the gum and stuff. Like I have Altoids, mints, and cinnamon. That's pretty good. Also, they talked about how our diets were good. We had a good balanced diet. A lot of game. Of course, they had gamey meat and stuff. You said you wish you can remember all your grandma's remedies. Yeah, this one. Well, this book has some of the stuff in here. Um, Now I can't even find a page now. I had everything set up for y'all. I had everything set up for y'all. Now I can't find it. Yeah, but they have everything in here like colic. Oh, here it is. I found it now. So it said when I'm reading it for you. When historian John Lawson wrote in 1714 that the Native Americans he met around North Carolina, oh, that's your place, Karen, your stomping grounds. He said that the Native Americans that he met in North Carolina were among the sweetest people in the world. He wasn't just talking about the dispositions. Along with many other observers at the time, Lawson noted that compared to the Europeans, the Native Americans were downright fragrant. Not only did they take frequent baths, but their healthful diets combined with good dental hygiene kept their breath fresh. All right. So some of the things that they did was they chewed on fennel. Like you can get fennel seeds like at the grocery store, Walmart, things like that. They have fennel seeds you can chew on. And when you chew on it, it tastes like licorice, basically. That's what it is. Like they use fennel seeds to make licorice. And car- car- cardamom. So that's what they said they were chewing on, fennel and cardamom. Just regular, the seeds. They just chewing on stuff every day when they're doing stuff. Another thing that they chewed on was pine resin as well. They made like a chewing gum out of pine resin. And if you guys know what pine, you said Carolina, right? They said y'all people are the sweetest people in the world. Karen. But yeah, the pine resin tastes like how pine cones smell. So you're gonna be chewing Christmas, Christmas season, the holiday season. That's how it tastes when you're chewing. I hope y'all can hear me. I told y'all it's like 97 degrees right now, so I got this air blasting. So I had to drive where I could actually get some reception. But yeah, so that's some of the remedies that they use. Parsley with their food, right? Chlorophyll with some of the stuff that they use to have good breath. Gargled with mint or sage. You can hear it. Thank you. I had this. I'm just trying not to pass out like y'all told me. And then they would make teas like with these herbs. You can make a mint tea. You can buy these things in the store now. mint tea. And then you can just throw in some sage, some loose. It's okay to have loose herbs in your tea as well. You can do the same thing with fennel, um, things like that. So, hey, Lee Man, that's just some of the stuff in here. Okay. So yeah, pine is really, you grow mint. Yeah, you can, like mint and sage, stuff like that. You can find it from Walmart and buy it from the store, and you can have the actual. What I did is I bought the little mint plant, and I have it in my kitchen, so I can just take off little pieces of mint or whatever. Now they do go bad fast, so you got to make sure that you water it. Put a little dish under it and pour some water in it so it doesn't go bad. That's why you see pics of us chewing on straw. Right, the straw, they use that to like a dental floss too, right? So you can get like the meat and stuff or whatever, potatoes out of their mouth, whatever we're eating here. And another thing that they mentioned in this book, which I knew before, I didn't know to this extent, was massage was a big part of health here. So yeah, yeah, resin. Yeah, you spelled it correct. We pronounce it rosin. Yeah, same thing. I'm probably not even saying. I say resin. I'm probably not even saying it right myself. That's how we say it here. We say resin, like resonate. But yeah, massage was a big part. What they would do is use these herbs, like the sage, make them, or like an acorn, crush it up and make an oil out of it, and they would massage the body, especially with injuries. You said you need a massage. Yeah, I know, me too. I might get one tomorrow. But yeah, they massage that oil into, like, if you have a like a Charlie horse or something, they'll just take that oil and put it on the body, and they will massage it. The medicine man or woman, that's what they would do. They are basically physicians. They're physicians, conjurers, what they call pastors. They're all these different occupations in one person. It's like the medicine, the priesthoods. So massage was really good for that. Also, that the massage, muscles, the wives will massage your husbands at the end of the day, putting that oil on them because they're coming back from hunting and things like that. Of course, we massage the babies too. And that's another thing that people in Africa do with shea butter. But we used to do it with oils here, like a acorn oil and different oils because it had healing properties in it. And also, we got to keep our skin, like, that's our lotion. We got to keep our skin hydrated. So that's a part of it. Let me see what else is in here. So I've been doing a lot of looking into the healing aspects. We also use crystals. We know of the saunas that they had here, the steam rooms. What do they call it? I don't know. Hot boxes. It sounds dirty. It sounds like something else. But um, they had like I can't think of the word now, but they used to always have like a little hut that you can go in and get steamed. And what the sauna did was the sweat will bring out the impurities, the toxins in your body, and the heavy metals. Now, one of the things that the healers were concerned about is having heavy metals and toxins within the body. So they would do things specifically to get those out. And that's why the women had our meals a certain way as well. We had a lot of stews. They made sure that we got lots of vegetables as well. And when they cooked, what a lot of people don't realize is when they were cooking, they were using these healing herbs, and they were putting out a good intention of healing. And that's why I know some of these old school women, they don't like to eat in restaurants for that reason, because they know that if somebody's negative and they're cooking over your food, that can conjure up something within you once you eat it. Like you're going to start feeling negative and things like that. So they made sure that they were in a good mind state. They were healthy. They were happy. You said that's your dialect, yeah. So that's why the women made sure, they sung over the food. Things like that we see our grandmas and people doing. We don't think about it, but what they're doing is it's kind of like I don't know, a ritual, I guess. Singing, putting positivity in the food, that's why they called it soul food, because it came from your soul. It's supposed to nourish and heal your soul, even though now they're putting a lot of byproducts and processed things in soul food that makes it really bad. Okay. Let me see what else in the book. Herbs, treatments. So you will go to the medicine people. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering today. It's so dang on hot. You would go to the medicine people and they would, find out things for you with these herbs. They'll cut twigs, and dogwood was something that they used a lot. The bark from dogwood, they will boil it. And that's another thing they use on the massage, and they will rub it into your leg or wherever the wound was or where the cramps were. That's what they would rub it into. Right. Also, they taught meditation and what is that called? Yeah, my brain's not working. It's too hot. Visualizing and visualizing yourself as healthy and relaxing and getting that massage was another way that they healed people, right? They used sound, the drum. So after they would massage the oils, they would play, someone would play the drum. Or they would sing, like I said, with the grandma singing in the kitchen. Those things would put people in a trance like hypnotic state that would induce healing within the body. So those things trigger healing. And they got some, what is this? Nutrition. So let me see what they talk about nutrition. Yeah, just the same thing like I was saying off my head. The balanced diet, having the meat, potatoes, vegetables, and herbs and things like that. Salt as well. They used a lot of sea salt, which we know sea salt is healing. They use sea salt in the baths too. If you didn't bathe in the river, they actually. Now this is another thing that the Europeans, when they went to these different places, they would see people in these giant, big pot-like things and a fire under it, and the water kind of, heating up the water, which was actually a hot bath, but they would assume cannibalism. They assumed that we were cooking people, but the people were really taking a bath. So that's how a lot of those myths of cannibalism got out there. The places, because we took hot baths. Like, you're not gonna sit in no cold water unless it's flowing river water. So taking baths with salt in the pot. So if you guys remember some of the old what was that, Bugs Bunny cartoons, the kind of old racist ones, when they show the men with the bones in their nose and the big pot with the fire, and then they get in the pot and they're sprinkling salt in there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The salt was the healing. It was healing the body. Sea salt, Himalaya salt, which we have now, but Himalayas like in India or somewhere, Asia. But that whole thing, they were taking a bath. They weren't cooking people to eat. So that's a whole nother video. If y'all want me to go deeper into that and get some sources and things, I can do that for y'all. You guys got any questions? I see y'all a little quiet today because I keep clicking on it. I guess because the damn thing keep cutting off on me. Hey, Brandon, you always on the lives. Appreciate y'all. A1 Wanuchi. Did I say that name right? Yeah, let me know if y'all got some questions with my Virginia accent. Also aloe vera, which we all many people think of as foreign, was something that was readily used in the South for the southeastern. You steaming in Maryland, scary is hot. We probably got the same heat that Maryland and that Virginia and that DC heat the same. OCO raw dang. Yeah, so aloe vera, that was a basic, um, is that a vegetable? Basic plant that was in the first aid kits of all the healers, right? It says it was first used by Native Americans in Florida and the southwestern United States, also known as a skin remedy. So people use that on their skin. It's good for eczema, dry skin, poison ivy, frost bites, fungus, insect bites. Also, some of the ladies know that aloe is good for the lady areas. Put aloe there. Okay, that's a tip. Put some aloe, not inside. Put some aloe there. You said that's why your grandma said grace, not so much religious, but to guard against negativity. Right? They putting that positive energy in the food. That's why they made us say grace, like you said. We were doing that before Christianity. We've been doing that. So, and the aloe vera is very good for your hair too. I use that in my hair. I use it in my son's hair. My aunts and grandma and all them. My aunts used to have this big aloe vera plant, and she would take I think leaves. They would take pieces of the plant off every day and do their hair with it. Okay, and they're talking about another one, bearberry, not Burberry. Bear. I hope y'all can understand with my accent. Bearberry, like a bear, like a grizzly bear. Um, they put that in the peace pipes. I think they mixed it in with the tobacco, and this is what they smoked at the tribal tribal council. I'm sorry, y'all. Good evening. So it was something that they used to foster friendship and leadership amongst especially when they have people out of town. What can they use for muscle spasms? Um, the same thing that I told you about with the massage. You can use aloe. It's good for anything. What was that? What did I say for the massage, y'all? Dogwood. So the dogwood bark, they would dry it out and use the pedestal to grind it and make an oil out of it and massage it. Right? Now, black cohosh. All right, I'm just telling y'all, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not giving out medical advice. Just a disclaimer for you guys. It's sad that we got to do these disclaimers, but black cohosh was readily used amongst the Algonquian tribes. Black cohosh is known as the women's herb, right? It's called the women's fortifier, and it's known to reduce hot flashes, sweating, headaches, vertigo, heart palpitations. I'm sorry, y'all. Tinnitus, the ringing of the ears, and menopause. And it also regulates your cycle things. Like my women in my family have been using it for so long they don't even know why they're using it. But now I know it's from their Algonquin heritage that they use the black cohosh. So, and men can use it too. Oh, it also helps with relieving the painful or delayed menstruation well, in difficult childbirth. So it kind of what it does is it helps the cervix stuff. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I said and stuff. Um, it also used for arthritis and illnesses like scarlet fever and smallpox and the whooping cough. So it's good for everything basically. And men can use it too. It's not just for women. You can get it at Walmart like you get everything, right? There's also blue cohosh, which um, has similar properties, as well as I'm not giving no medical advice, but y'all can use things at your own risk. The women, the Algonquian women, used to use blue cohosh as birth control. Yes, as birth control. Also, it can induce labor as well. So if you're pregnant, unless you in the ninth inning, I wouldn't advise using black or blue cohosh because you're gonna go in labor, girl. Just saying. And I'm not a doctor, so don't take this as no. You do the research yourself, and you find out, and you go ahead and talk to your physician and confirm that. Dandelion root is also very good. You can make dandelion tea. You can use the whole plant. It has good high amounts of iron, potassium, phosphorus. Did I say that right? No, I didn't. Phos- Phosphorus and vitamins A, B, C, and D. It's also rich in lectin, right? Now, lectin, which a lot of people don't know, is really good for hyperactivity, children with ADHD, ADD, things like that. It helps you focus, basically. Karen, you say you still do drums and healing oil at church and ghost dance. Yeah, that's sure what they do. That's surely what they do. Dandelion tea is good for Alzheimer's disease. Helps with bone weakening. Um, and it can flush your kidneys and bladder. So if you have like bladder infections or kidney stones, it's something good to have. Echinacea, which a lot of people know, everybody grandma tell you to take some echinacea so you don't get a cold. It's another good healing plant. Um, it's anti-inflammatory. It helps with your gums, like gum disease. Um, it helps to fight bacteria and things like that. And we just talked about the fennel already. Fennel is good for sweetening bad breath and gas and coughs and indigestion. So we had reasons why we were just like Karen was talking about people just walking around chewing stuff. We chewed on sticks and things like that. Um, you said drink alkaline water. Yeah, all the water used to be alkaline back in the day. Like the pH was perfect. Now we have to get these filtered waters and it kind of strips the minerals out. So that's why we need an alkaline or alkalined water. Now you can make your own alkaline water with using lemon or um, or limes. Just squeezing a little bit in your water and leaving it overnight can alkaline your water. You don't have to buy expensive things. Oops, I'm sorry, y'all. You don't have to buy expensive things at all, right? Do you guys have any more questions? Let me try to look into some of the. Now my phone it's getting low, so I'm gonna try to look into some of the not the rituals. Yeah, some of the healing things that we did. No questions? I'm surprised. Y'all usually got a bunch of questions. Just it's too hot, huh? You said cranberry juice. Cranberry juice is also cranberries is something that they use for healing. Um, It helps with bladder. It helps regulate your blood. It also helps healing. Some things that people don't, one thing that a lot of people don't know is when our men used to, oh, somebody just walked behind that you can't see them. When our men used to get wounded in war or in battle, um, the women or the healers would take cranberries, chew it up, so it makes like a little paste, and then put it on the actual wound, and that would make the wound heal faster. Um, and I think they would either bandage it or just rub it in and just let it dry, or you could have put it on and then put the pine resin on top. Pine resin also heals as well, and it's a good pregnancy info. Yeah, um, it helps with your labor. It helps take the pain away, so you won't be in a lot of pain. And a lot of our women used to give birth either by themselves or with a group of midwives. The husbands weren't there at all. The men were not there. So especially if you're by yourself, blue cohosh helps a lot. It will help you go into labor early and make the labor easier. That's what I'm told. I haven't tried it myself. That's why I say y'all got to check with physicians. I'm not a physician. I'm just a person interested in healings. So, um, oh, they got a little cough syrup recipe in here for red clover. Y'all want that? 1 ounce of fresh red clover flowers, a cup of hot water, 2 cups of sugar. Now we used to make sugar out of pine syrup, like maple. I mean, not pine, maple syrup, like the maple syrup that you use for your pancakes or whatever. We used to use that and make sugar out of it. So this recipe is asked for 2 cups of sugar. Put the ingredients in a saucepan, bring to a boil, reduce the heat to a simmer for 10-15 minutes, and then strain the liquid and pour it into a glass jar. That's pretty simple. So that's a little basic cough syrup that they would make. That's pretty cool. Right here, I'm just flipping through the book too. If y'all just getting on, I'm talking about this book, but I'm also giving personal insight from things I know from my own knowledge and from family knowledge too. This one talks about depression. It says historians tell us that Native Americans are generally high-spirited people, uplifted by their faith in the benevolence of Mother Earth and all her creation, plants, animals, and life. It just basically talks about the people using songs and their spirituality so they wouldn't be depressed. But some types of depressions were too serious to treat on their own. You know, a lot of us, especially coming out of the winter, in the winter time, a lot of us deal with the winter blues, as they call it. So they said the Native Americans believe that keeping their bodies in peak condition naturally brighten their emotions. So basically, it's saying y'all need to work out. Y'all feeling depressed. People, I notice for myself, when I'm constantly or consistently working out, I don't feel depressed, even if it doesn't matter what's going on. And then they also talk about some of the herbs that also help. Licorice root. So what we get today, you can go to the store, get you some licorice if you like to eat that. It makes, it helps. It's like a nature's Prozac, it says. It says eat at least 8 licorice compounds, and that use that as an depressant. Sorry. I hope y'all can see me. The sun is just overexposing my skin right now. You can make licorice tea. Drink up to 3 cups of licorice tea a day, freshly brewed. I'm sorry, made with hot water. It's a caution. Licorice can have a toxic effect when taken for an extended period of time, so you should consider a short-term remedy only. So I was basically saying, don't do the licorice tea every day. take some breaks from that, or just I would suggest. I'm not a doctor. Tell y'all again to drink licorice tea during the winter time when people are more susceptible to the winter blues. That's just me. Peppermint is also good. Mint is indigenous. I was saying the other earlier, I wasn't sure, but peppermint is a hybrid of mint. Mint is used for that as well, antidepressants. That's why people have a lot of peppermints during the holiday season in the winter, and that also helps with depression. Um, they say oats help. I don't think oatmeal is indigenous. I don't think oats are indigenous. But oatmeal helps with depression. That's what they're saying. Purs- Purslane. I never heard of this herb. Purslane helps. It's full of magnesium, potassium, calcium, phosphate, and lithium. Okay, that's good. The best way to eat it is in like a green salad. So I guess it's something that grows outside. Did y'all say somebody say something? You said those shades fit you. Oh, thank you. I like these big shades. Turpentine my grandmother used. Yeah, Marion, turpentine is just the pine resin. That's all it is, just pine resin by a different name. And you can also use that turpentine, like pine salt. They use it to clean. It actually cleans the floors good, but it's also a spiritual cleansing as well. The spiritual protection with pine resin, pine salt. That's why grandmas use pine salt. You know, you clean your house two different ways. Rosemary and sweet clover were also used to raise the spirits and had a sweet smell. So it made your house smell good too. I can't, it's hard for me to see y'all. What about essential oils? Well, all these things you can make oils with. Like I was telling y'all, did you just get on here, Chelsea? All of these things you can make oils with. You make sage oil, mint oil. Um, what was the other one? It's a whole bunch of different oils. They made acorn oils. What is something that you guys want to know? Hello, King. Any questions? I'm just going. I'm about to get off here because I'm pine as shampoo. Yeah, they have pine tar soap, which is good for your skin and acne and things like that. It draws out impurities. Pine tar. They used to use it a lot more back in the day. Now you can probably find it on Amazon. It's not too prevalent. Tea tree oil is, I believe that's from Asia, but it's really good. Like we can incorporate these different things. There's nothing wrong with that. We can incorporate everything. That's the beauty of the world today. Besides all the other foolishness, is the connections of different cultures and different remedies and things that we can all benefit from. So, yeah. They don't really get too deep in it because they kind of spend a lot of time. Alabama pine tree. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All the stuff in the woodlands area is good. I think pine trees. We have with at least three different. No, I think it's seven different species of pine trees. Pine trees. No, 30. We have 30 different species of pine trees in America, just North America. So you might be thinking things the same, but they different. You said positive energy. All the things, all the healing things. We use the drum a lot for creating positive energy. Crystals we use. A lot of people don't know that the crystals were used even in the bows and arrows and things like that. In the lances or spears that we use certain crystals for certain properties. Um, and you would think it's kind of like, even if you got stabbed with one of these spears, you might get a little bit of healing. It's weird. Like, are they trying to heal their enemies? If you stabbing somebody with a quartz, I don't know. So, what feathers were used for besides wearing the hair? They use feathers as paper towels because the people clean themselves. So if you're having dinner, they'll have a bowl of water, and then they'll also, if you're rich, you had somebody there holding these feathers for you to dry your hands off with. Also, the more affluent people, like a chief, whatever, they would have these same people there with a towel when they go into the bathroom. They actually had bathrooms, which a lot of people don't. People think we all just, in the woods. They actually had bathrooms, and they had the feathers. They used the feathers as towels. Now they didn't use the feathers for toilet paper. We use water for toilet paper. So just like some people who are familiar with the Muslim culture or Islam, how they have the little water pots. And what they call, not neti pots, it's another name that they use. They pour it on the private areas or the wherever to get the stuff off. Now, if you notice, when you have certain diets as well, you don't have as much mess when you use, to TMI, but when you're eating a certain diet, you having a lot of vegetables, you're not going to have all that to clean up to need a lot of toilet paper anyways. So they would just pour the water off, and then I guess you just dry off naturally or whatever. Peace, Gretchen. You said my aunt's grandma knew this bitter red root that cures ulcers. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. The red, what was that we were talking about? I think that red clover cures the ulcers too. That's a lot of good stuff. Just the daily, like, just the stuff that they use daily in the food, it was healing, so people didn't get cancer and get sick like that. And if you got really sick like that, people assumed that it was something, maybe somebody put a hex on you, or it was something spiritual, the reason why you got sick, you know, because they were doing so much to prevent it, to make sure everybody was healthy and happy, positive, and have a positive community. And that's what it was about. It was about community. It was about building. It was about prospering and preparing for the next 7 generations behind you. You had to make sure, because they knew that all this stuff they were passing down in our DNA, right? Certain illnesses and things. If you cured it, if you worked on curing it, then the next generation might not get that in their DNA, or they'll get it weaker, and then continue to get weaker and weaker. How do we use dandelion? Oh, I just went over dandelion. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me find dandelion. Yeah, you said Himalaya salt is good for cleanse. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I don't want to mess your name. I'm just call you Miles. I won't mess your name up because that's hard to read. I was talking about how they mistaken us taking baths as cannibalism, because people would take a bath in these big pots with a fire going under it, and they would sprinkle the salt and sea salt into the pot to cleanse, not to cook or eat anybody. Now, Europe, they did have what they called it, the long pork. They did eat the long pork in desperate times, so they actually did utilize cannibalism, but we didn't do that. That was not something that we did at all. And I really don't think they did that in Africa either. But they did take the baths, the hot baths. So let me look for the dandelion again. seeing if I missed something. You said fever leaves, Karen. Your grandma used them. Oh, okay. That's something new for me. I'm trying to look for the dandelion. 'Cause I did topaz. Yeah, we did dandelion. Um, oh, it helps with menopause. Well, I was saying that it helps with the weak bones. It has a lot of good minerals and nutrition in it. Gets rid of excess water weight, flushes the kidneys and bladder, helps organs be free of infections, helps pneumonia, bronchitis, and other respiratory problems. Acts as a diuretic, and it helps reduce swelling and localized sprains and infections. And it cleanses bladder, kidneys, liver, spleen. So it's really good. Like you can either take dandelions out your yard or you can go to the store and buy dandelion tea. Right? And what? They was eating it like this? Hold on. Let me methods of use. I'm gonna just read it for y'all. Because dandelion leaves are tender and delicately bitter, they're prized as a salad green. And as a bonus, the leaves are incredibly rich in vitamin A, containing more of this nutrient than carrots do. Wow, I didn't know that. Dandelion can be eaten raw or prepared by boiling or sauteing. Because the leaves do have a bitter note, many people add a little sweetening. Among the Pennsylvania Dutch, for example, dandelions are often served with dressing made of cider vinegar and sugar, perhaps a little bacon. That's how the Dutch used it. I don't know why they mentioned the Dutch, but whatever. The roots are best when boiled or baked, and the flowers can be transformed into a tender delicacy, tasting something like mushrooms. Hmm. When pan fried in butter or oil. All parts of the plant can be dried and stored up for a year without losing its medicinal properties. I'm sorry, y'all. It's hot. I need to drink some water. I need to drink some water. But yeah, that's y'all got to get on that dandelion tea. I've been drinking dandelion tea for a couple of years now. I'm trying to get my son. He's been drinking a little bit of it too. Onion brings out color back. Yeah, onion's good. You said color from burns. Oh, I didn't know you can do. I know it's good for burns, but I didn't know it helps with the dark spots. Pony, you said my grandfather used to eat raw onions mixed with molasses or cod liver oil to keep parasites out of the body. Yeah, onions are good for that. You said you're allergic to pine? No. I'm sorry, Mama Red. Eating clay? Yeah, clay. You can cleanse eating clay. It's a cleanse that you can use. I don't think this book talks about it. Yeah. You said your mom could talk about eating clay. And clay is good to eat. It's like a detox. You can detox with it. You gotta look it up to do it properly because you don't want to be choking. And make sure you got clay. Or you can buy like the what is it called? Bentonite or benzonite clay and use that kind. What was I about to look for? Y'all done got me off track. Oh, yeah, clay is good. I was in the zone, now I'm out of the zone. So, y'all got any questions about anything? And please, please, please share out the video so other people can see it and they can get, research for themselves, look up some of these natural healing uh, remedies that we had to prevent all these surgeries and the tons of medicines that's toxic that a lot of our people are taking and they're prescribing to us. please let them try to use some of the holistic things first. I'm not saying don't go to the hospital. I'm not saying that, or doctor. Sometimes the stuff is necessary. So, so your grandparents were true herbalists. Yes, a lot of our grandparents were herbalists. And some of them didn't even know it. You know, like just like with the cooking and stuff, all that stuff is medicine. All that stuff is medicine. Certain recipes that our grandparents had, it was medicine. Or certain things that they did, like the aloe, putting aloe, rubbing oils. Even the act of us putting lotions on back in the day, they used to use oils before the lotions. And those oils rubbing, they'll rub it and massage the body. Um, some of them used to do dry brushing. That's also a medicine because it gets out toxins and it circulates the blood in your body. Why? You say I look like golden fried chicken. What? Ooh, probably could and can fry some chicken on my skin today. It's so hot, sweating so much. Do you guys have any questions? I might come on later tonight again, and get deeper into the spirituality, more of the rituals and things like that. Talk about the sacred societies. We had sacred societies instead of secret societies here. Many of those dealing with the clans and things like that. Ginger is great. Ginger, yes, ginger tea is something that a lot of us drunk people. Some of the people here would drink ginger tea in the morning with the cornbread. And what the ginger tea would do is it gives you energy, keeps the blood circulating, gets rid of infection. Thank you, Jason. It gives you get rid of infections. Helps with the bad breath. Keep the breath fresh in the morning. What else did it do? It helps with your digestive system. Um, Prevents colds and things like that. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Ginger. Just look up the ginger tea. What about sand from the beach? You say you don't go on with that fried chicken reference, right? You talking about my skin like fried chicken, Karen. I don't know what that's supposed to be a compliment, or you saying his finger licking good, or what? Sand from the beach. Sand from the beach is good. Beach sand, you can use that, rub it on your skin. It's known for antibacterial. Sand beach. Also, you can make water filters with sand. You need sand, you need pebbles, charcoal, and I think just regular dirt or rocks. And you can make your own water filter. Like cut open. Might do another video on how to make. I'm gonna do more video on survival things as well because we need to know these survival techniques in case something happens. Some stuff keep happening, like we had the floods in the DMV area as well in the Gulf Coast. Some people are still affected by it. Stuff like that has been happening a lot, especially in our neighborhoods. We don't have the resources like other people to bounce back from it, so we have to get into our survival techniques. Um, we can't afford to go buy a whole bunch of bottles of water, so we need to know how to create our own water filters. You can also get things like Life Straw. I got Life Straw during the Amazon Prime thing last week. I got me one of those just in case. And what that does is you can drink any of those kind of river waters, whatever. I wouldn't suggest drinking anything in still water, but they claim that it works with the straw. And you can just drink the water straight out of there and it'll be pure and fresh. But you can also do it the way, like I said, with the sand, the pebbles, and if you look it up, I'm gonna do a video. I'll do a video on it, so you can create your own water filter. And it's just good to know these tips Um, yeah, sand, pebbles, and charcoal, and I think a little bigger rocks in it. I'm gonna do a video so we can see how it looks. But it's good to know these, how to start fires, how to have water filters, things like that, because you don't know what can happen in these. It might not even be no zombie attacks like The Walking Dead or Black Summer. I just watched Black Summer last night. It was good. But when you watch these movies, it lets you know, hey, you can have a whole pantry stocked full of food, but if you're on the run, you can't take all that food with you. You can't take all those bottles of water. You already know how hard it is to carry that thing to the car. You can't take all it. So you need to know how to make a water filter. You need to know how to create fire. It's basic stuff that you need to know how to fish, how to hunt, how to cook in the wilderness, things like that. And that's another thing that a lot of our people don't do. We don't take our kids camping to learn these things. We don't send them to summer camps to learn those types of things. Survival skills is something that everybody should know, right? In case something happens, be prepared. All right. And then also, like I just told y'all about all these herbs, we used to be, well, you probably still can find a lot of these herbs in the wilderness. So if something happens, you're gonna know how to, those pesky dandelions that we used to think was weeds. We know that that's some good meal right there. You can fry it up and have it like sauteed, tasting like sauteed mushrooms and stuff. So you can use that to, if you're injured. Like I told y'all about the cranberries, if y'all cut your leg or something, you in the woods, put some cranberry juice or cranberry sauce on it. Whatever, cranberries, period, on it. Just simple stuff like that is something good to know. Knowledge is power. You need to have the knowledge stored in your head. People can't take it away from you. Even if you don't have everything around you, you can go find these things growing out in nature. You can find dandelions. You know, they're everywhere. You can find pine trees to get the pine resin. You can use the pine resin as a band-aid as well. You can eat the pine resin. You can boil the pine noodles, the needles. Did I say noodles? I'm hungry, but I'm about to go to the grocery store. You can boil the pine needles and create a tea. All these things are important to know, right? So I'm gonna start doing survival videos. Um, what they call it, bushcraft now. If you Google bushcraft, a lot of these things will pop up for you. Everybody, man, woman, and child, need to know these things. You can't just depend on other people. Everybody get like if like okay. When I was watching the Black Summer, I don't want to give anything away. Black Summer on Netflix. One of the things that they were saying is, how can this person contribute? We can't keep this person around if they don't do anything, if they don't know anything, if they can't help us. So it's good no matter what you look like, how tall, how powerful, strong. If you have this knowledge, you'll be um, an asset and not a liability. That's what we all want, to be an asset to ourselves and to others, to our family, to our community. Right. We know a lot of our family is just stuck in the loop. They're in survival mode and they don't even know how to survive. So we have to be that light for them. So quartz. Yeah, quartz crystals, like I was saying, they use those in bows and arrows. Quartz is good. You can find quartz just lying around. You said flint. Yeah, flint is good for fires. These are things that we need to know, right? We need to create our own schools and educate our children in topics. And Brandon, yeah, exactly what I'm doing, Brandon. I have my own online school called Adina Academy, which I'm going to reopen soon. And I'm going to have these types of classes available for people. Now, these survival classes and things are not, I'm not going to have an outrageous prices like some of these other people have it for like 7,000. I was looking at the classes like $7,000 and stuff. No, I don't want to have it. I might break it down in little smaller classes so it can be like $20 or whatever, so people can be able to use it. Like the whole family can use it for $20. Like it's just, And then I'm going to have stuff on here so you don't have to pay for it, right? Some information on here for free. You say you're the hunter in your family. Yeah, everybody got to know something. You said so much good information in this chat. Yes, everybody's contributing. It's not just me. That's why I love doing the lives, because you guys are so educated and you guys are so willing to help each other. And that's what it's about. That's why I do this channel, to help everybody, to help people and get this information out. Get it out. Now some of my family members watch this channel. Now they're getting interested in our heritage and the information, just the knowledge of knowing certain things, right? You say you had an extremely hard time getting to you. This has been going on for so long. I have to learn from you. What do you mean getting to me? Margaret, you can email me at thetashashi@gmail.com. My email, I respond, try to respond at least every week. Sometimes it's a little slow because I have other emails and things, regular, daily stuff, but I would try to get to you. I respond to everybody. So you say anything about fasting? Well, for fasting, people, it did say in there that people ate less when they were sick for healing. This is something that the mamas, the grandmas, everybody in my family taught me to eat less. And then I instinctively don't feel like eating a lot of food when I'm sick. So in being a part of Muslim culture, I used to be a part of Muslim culture. You learn during Ramadan that when you fast, you're healing. What it does is it resets your stomach. And once your stomach resets, other organs in your body resets as well. You can look all this stuff up. And it basically jump starts your body over again. What you do is you're renewing your cells, and everything in your body renews when you're fasting. So when you're very ill, it's good not to eat a lot. So they tell you to drink a lot of fluids and things like that. It's good to have tea with the herbs that I mentioned earlier, the healing tea. Those things will renew your body and your cells. And it also, fasting repairs your DNA. So it's very good for you. And what a lot of the healers used to recommend to fast, they'll tell people to do just like I said, a liquid fast or a vegetable fast, which is now called the vegan diet. They didn't eat vegan forever. Vegan was used mainly to heal. It was a temporary diet. Certain people in certain priesthoods and things, they did eat vegan, so all the time. But most of the people used it as a fast or as like a temporary healing diet. So you said you went to classes. Yeah, Margaret, I'm not saying your name right. I'm sorry. The classes are going to be online. So I'm gonna start doing the online class until I'm able to get a physical school. The physical school is going to be mostly like a homeschool for children, as well as having, after school closes, we're going to have other classes in that same facility as well. So if you're disabled, it's good to just do the online classes. All the information is going to be the same information and everything. So I know everybody doesn't live in Virginia, so they can't come anyways. You said books for pregnancy. That's I don't. They don't have any. You said Standing Rock. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read what y'all saying. I told you, if you go back and watch the beginning of the video, you'll hear some stuff for pregnancy. The blue and the black cohosh is used to induce labor. So, yeah, go back and watch the video again. Um, but another book like Hypno Babies and things like that is very good. That's something that I used during my pregnancy, and I've recommended to friends, and they have thanked me for the Hypno Babies. Because basically, what it does is just like I was telling you about the Native American quote unquote healing. It puts you in a hypnotic state, the trance state. They would induce that. I'm sorry, y'all. American Indians would induce that with the drum, with the oils, the massage, the chanting, songs, all that stuff. Um, the women here, they would have the oil massage, certain oils and herbs and massage